Mr. Sain's 6th grade Nutty Band, the 3 rules to participate. I grew up in Rose Park, which was a community on the west side of Salt Lake City. At the time I lived there, it was considered an economically disadvantaged neighborhood. The school that I attended, Rose Park Elementary School, didn't have a formal music education program. We didn't have a band, an orchestra, we didn't have a school choir. And so the 6th grade teacher, Mr. Sain, decided to remedy that. He came up with a program called Nutty Band. Now the band program that he created didn't have typical instruments like this. Oh no, that's not what our instruments look like. Our instruments look more like this. And in this collection there were 2 xylophones. This was the actual xylophone that I had the opportunity to play on when I was in his band. He gifted to me this xylophone a few years ago after he retired, and it's something that I will treasure the rest of my life. Now, the reason why he gave me the opportunity to play on the xylophone was because I was taking piano lessons. This was a luxury that a lot of the students in our band didn't have the opportunity to take. And so to be a member of the band, we had to agree to 3 rules. We had to be respectful of others, we had to show up on time, and we had to work together. From kindergarten until 5th grade, the class that I was in was considered a troublemaker class. We had bad behavior down to a science. Unfortunately, we would chew up and spit out our teachers faster than they knew what hit them. I think the reason why this was because there were several students in the class who came from pretty hard family situations, and so it manifested itself in the form of bullying in the classroom. Mr. Sain knew that he had to remedy this somehow, and so his very first rule, be respectful of others, he took very seriously. I remember one of our very first rehearsals, there was a boy who was picking on another student, and Mr. Sain stopped that rehearsal, reminded the boy of our rule, and he quickly dismissed him from the group. This was a huge eye-opener for the rest of us because we realized he was not kidding. If we messed around, we were not going to have the opportunity to play in this band, and this was a very special experience. So at that point forward, bullying stopped. In the workplace, encouraging and respecting those that we work with and that we lead is so critical. Like playing in a band, everyone in an organization has something to contribute. And this contribution will be fostered through mutual respect. So remembering to respect others is very important in the workplace. Rule number 2, show up on time. We had 1 hour a week to practice together as a group. We didn't get to bring home our instruments throughout the week, and the only time that we got to practice or play together was on Friday mornings, an hour before school started. We would meet in the cafeteria and practice all together. Anytime a student would show up late, you could feel the tension in the group just rising because we realized that Mr. Sain was going to have to reteach them everything that he just covered with the group. And our time was so valuable. This is the same in the workplace too. It's important not only to physically show up on time, but to turn in projects when they're due. This will affect our team's productivity and morale, and we all have to rely on one another to get things done. Rule number 3, work together. Mr. Sain spent an immense amount of time coaching us on how to play our instruments and how to play together in the group. He had to teach us our parts, when to play, when not to play, when to listen. Because if we didn't follow his instructions, our group was going to sound like a disaster. And that is not what we wanted for our Nutty Band. We wanted our Nutty Band to sound as good as it possibly could be. It's a given that we're going to work with others in the workplace. As a leader, it's important to let everyone know on your team that they are important and that they are needed. Letting them know that they are valued will help bring the organization to a higher level. These 3 rules of Mr. Sain's have stuck with me throughout my life. I have continued to remember them and apply them, whether it's in the concert hall or in the boardroom. And I'm so grateful to him for giving me such a wonderful opportunity, not only to play in his band, but to learn these 3 important rules. Thanks so much for listening.